Hey guys, it's Charles Osman here with the International Wingfoiling Organization. And today we're going to be bringing you a special video, which is basically a summarization. Here we got our student Jerry, who's going to be learning how to wingfoil today. And we got our setup already. As you can tell, we have a helmet, we got impact vest, but we're going to begin right here on the beach. So Jerry, when we want to get into wingfoiling, I don't know if it's your first time trying the sport out.
Yeah,
it is
my first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know how to swim?
I know how to swim.
All right, sweet. So here we got the spot. As you can tell, there's some wingfoilers out. There's some kiteboarders. We got a little bit of shore break. And the overall spot here in Cabrera is quite an easy spot to ride at, but it's good to know sort of where we're working, where we're riding. So luckily, in the bottom of the ocean, we don't have anything too dangerous. All it is that we're going to screw in our hose into the wing, and we're just going to press this button to lock up the valve. So we can press that like that. So just press it. And here we're going to want to get that in. Just screw it. Awesome.
It's ready?
Yeah. Nice and tight. All right, and then we're just going to take this leash right here, which is the leash to hold our wing so it doesn't blow away from us once we're flying it or once we're starting to pump it. So here you're just going to want to attach it right there. Attach that. Alrighty, so to get that wing pumped up. So we're going to want to get a foot feet on and then pump it up, right up and down. And have you ever tried out any other sports, kiteboarding, surfing, in the ocean? Yeah. Yeah. All right. So here we got our leash, Jerry. This is the wing, and as you can tell on this wing, we have 3 handles, right? We got one in the back, one in the front, and then we got this sort of handle right here. This is the neutral handle that's right in the front of the wing. So when you hold this, you'll see that the wing doesn't really go anywhere. All right, so
It's lighter.
it's also pretty light, yeah. So you see that the wing is just up there. Doesn't really do anything when you're holding it on this handle, which is the neutral one. Here we got our wrist leash, which we mentioned. So this wrist leash, we're gonna want to get it on. So when it's our first time getting the wing in our hands, there's gonna be a sensation that you're gonna feel like the wing is gonna be flying away from you, that it's gonna be pulling you. But we're gonna learn now how to basically master the wing and control it. So as you can see here, when I pull on the wing, it does pull me a little bit, but I want to keep the strength of the wing and the power that it's delivering in my arms, right? So it doesn't really pull me forward, and I'm also not pulling against it and flying back. So I just want to hold it nice and gently. I can even hold it with one finger, as you can see. So it's really not to muscle it, it's just to be holding it. And what we're going to be doing right now is just familiarizing ourselves with the wing so that we're going to learn how to control it and also get power out of it. So, all right, so as you can tell, very basic, the controls, your front arm is going to be nice and straight, with your back arm having a little bit of pull, a little bit shortened, so that you sort of engage the wing. And as you can see, when it's flat, right, when we're holding it from this handle, it stays nice and flat. It doesn't do anything. So essentially, it's only when we engage the wing by pulling on our backhand and we change the angle that we start getting power and capturing the wind, essentially.
So the backhand is just to get like power?
Yeah.
Okay.
And your front hand is gonna, and also to steer, and your front hand is also able to help with the power, but it's also for steering. So we're gonna get this on our wrist. You can put on either wrist, left or right, whatever is comfortable for you.
Tight?
Yeah. Sufficiently tight, yeah, and so it cuts the blood. Alrighty. So here we give you the wing.
So where are we going? Left, right?
Whatever side you want to start on. So if you want to start on the left side or if you want to start on the right side, you can give it a shot. Alrighty. Yeah. Perfect. So exactly that. So whenever you feel that the wing is getting out of control, if you simply let go of it, you see we're safe, nothing happens, which is also why we're practicing here on land before. So now we could take an opportunity here to flip over this wing. So how would you flip over this wing? Like that? All right, that's one way of doing it. So we'll try to control the wing again, and then we're gonna get back to an exercise that we're gonna be able to do, or we can do it right now. All right. So whenever the wing flips over like this, and if we're on the water, here it's very easy for us to flip this wing over because we're standing on land and we also have height, right? So we could easily just flip it over like this, and then we're gonna have the wing upside down back to riding position. But if we're on the water, we're not gonna be able to do that. So it's good to get into the habit right out of the get-go, right from the beginning, to flip the wing over how we would actually do it when it's on the water.
All right.
When we're on the water, what we're gonna wanna do is go to either side of the wing and make our way to the edge of the wingtip. All right, and once we're at this part, so you wanna come over here? So once we're at this part, you're gonna see that your leash stretches out, which is not a big deal. That can stretch out. And what we're gonna wanna do is get one hand in the inside and one hand close right on the outside. And what we're gonna do is just flip the wing over. All right?
So and I can use both sides.
And you can use either side. And then from here, you wanna either keep one hand down on it so the wing doesn't just shoot away, or you wanna hold the leash and get back to the center handle as quick as possible. So this is a little bit more of an advanced exercise for once we're gonna be getting to the water. But since you just flipped your wing around, it was a good time to show you this. Sorry, so let's flip this over. And you see when I flip it over from the corner, the wind is gonna help you to get it over. So let's give it a shot. You can decide to flip it over either side you want. All right, go up. So you see there when you hold it,
Yeah.
it was nice and easy. And basically, more you go to the edge of the wing, the easier it's gonna be to pivot it over. Alrighty, so now you get the wing. Let's give it another shot to try to control it. This time, we're gonna grab it with our front hand. Yeah, exactly. And then when you get to the back handle, right? Don't pull too much, just a little bit, yeah, and extend your front arm. There we go. All right, so this is perfect. So you just wanna get comfortable with the wing there. Yeah. So how do you feel the power coming into the wing?
It's nice. Yeah. It's a little bit
You feel it pulling you a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
Wow.
there you go. So it's delivering power. And basically, what's gonna be happening here is that your front arm, if you pull your front arm in and you shorten it, you feel that you don't really have much power anymore?
Yeah, it's a less power.
Yeah, less power. All right, let's extend it, your arm again. Perfect. And with your back hand, just try to pull down towards your hips. And you feel that you start generating some power? You feel like it's pulling you a little bit more?
Yeah.
All right, so let's release our backhand. Super. And now what we're gonna do, just real quick, we're gonna turn to the other side. So we're gonna let go of our backhand. We're gonna grab the center handle, yeah, and we're just gonna switch and rotate our bodies over to the other side real quick. Super. So yeah, let's get back into the position. Awesome. Oh. So in that moment, what did you feel happened there?
Since the wind pushed me back.
It wouldn't push you back?
Yeah.
All right. So that's always a good thing to keep the wing nice in front of you, because there you're gonna have a little bit more control. You're gonna also see what you're doing. And remember, we're gonna be seeing where we're going. So we're gonna try to walk over here real quick. Nice. All righty. So it's also important when we're learning how to wing foil or do any of these extreme sports to just be aware of our surroundings. Luckily, when we're wing foiling, if we let go of the wing, it's only gonna go the distance of our leash, unless for some reason the leash breaks and the wing flies away. But generally speaking, if we let go of the wing, nothing's gonna happen. So that's sort of a safety mechanism in case of an emergency, releasing the wing completely. So let's just give it a shot real quick, since you're having some nice control happening. Let's just release both hands and see where the wing goes. Right? So you see that? Not much happens.
Yeah.
The wing sort of flies around a little bit because the wind takes it, but in reality, you don't feel much power at all.
No.
Exactly. All right, so now let's just get to the wing again. Let's use the leash to get to it. Yeah, super. And we're gonna control the wing. You're doing real good.
So like this, right?
Whatever side you want. Start.
So keep it higher, right?
Keep it nice and high, yeah. Remember, you wanna keep most of the wing power into your arms so that it's not pulling your body. Okay, because eventually down the line, once we get to the next stages in our progression, we're gonna have to use our feet independently from our arms to manage the board. That's gonna be the next step.
All right.
Alrighty, so there we got some control. Now what I'm gonna want you to try to do is try to lower the wingtip down closer to the sand without touching the sand.
Yep, but it's coming.
Oh, all right. What are you gonna do there? There we go. All righty.
So the wing was in front of me.
Yeah, so you saw the wing just starting to fall right in front of you. So what happens is that you're gonna want to always be steering the wing with your backhand, all right? And it's not so much a pulling situation, but it's just being aware of where you're bringing the wing. So if you're gonna be pulling too high up, you already know that the wing's gonna start nosediving. And if you start pressing too much down, you already know that the wing's gonna shoot up above you.
Side.
So it's sort of opposites when you're controlling the wing. So let's just get it flipped over real quick, going to the edge. Yeah, super, wow, super easy. So here, just to show you real quick. So when I'm steering the wing, okay, if I start pulling up on my backhand, the wing automatically, you see how it starts going down? It starts going down. Here, since we're on land, we can muscle it by pulling down towards the water to help us bring it back into control, right? So that's just one way. If the wingtip touches the water, we can just press down and pull up towards our hips, and then you're gonna see that the wing's gonna shoot back up.
Right.
One thing that's important is that if your front hand, whichever way you're going, is up in the air, right? Your wing's gonna have a hard time. If it's right above you, and let's say using your ear as a reference, if it's right above you, it's very difficult for the wing to shoot down to the water. So that's just sort of one part that can help you out when you're out there in the water or even on land steering, is that if you're ever in doubt for some reason, if your arms are in front of you totally, then your wing might just go down. So your front arm, even though it's not controlling everything 100%, it does help guide you or guide your wing when you're controlling it. And your backhand, as you can see here, I can use it to steer.
Yeah.
And it's a bit the opposite, right? So when I'm gonna press down, it's gonna go up, and when I pull up, it's gonna go down. But in any case, for what we're gonna be needing is we wanna get comfortable keeping the wing nice and steady, stable in different positions, and then we're gonna move on to the next exercise, which is generating power.
All right.
And I can show you right now so that when we're practicing, you're gonna get the hang of it, you're gonna be able to do it. So we're just gonna wanna first get comfortable bringing our wing wherever we want, keeping it nice and steady. And then we're gonna wanna get used to walking with the wing in certain directions, right? So we're just gonna get used to walking with the wing. And then once we're doing that, what we're gonna be doing is getting used to generating power. So there's two ways to generate power. One of them is pulling with our backhand towards our hips as the aim. I'm never gonna really reach my hips.
Yeah.
On land I can, but it's more about just trying to go towards the hips when I'm pulling down on my backhand. The second way we're gonna generate power is gonna be by pulling down with both of our hands.
With both hands.
Right? So if I pull down with both my hands, then I'm gonna know
But I get more power, right?
that we're gonna get more power, yeah. So we either have pumping with one arm, or we have, let's say, the two-hand pumping, which is what most people call it nowadays, which is pumping with both arms. We're always gonna wanna remember that our front arm is gonna be always longer than our back arm. Okay? If we shorten our front arm too much, we know we're gonna lose power
Less power.
because the wind is touching us on the other side and it's not coming into the wing. So to have power in the wing, we always need the wind to come into it so we can capture it. That's essentially what we're doing. But I'm gonna pass you the wing here, and what we're gonna do is just work on those two exercises, which is one, working with the wing to keep it stable or in a position that we want, walking. And then the next one we're gonna try is getting power with either way. Either we're getting power using our one-hand pump, or we're gonna get power doing two-hand pumps. So, all right, let's give it a shot.
So right side, right?
Whatever side you wanna start on.
If I have my wing here,
Yeah. So
So-
how do you get that out now?
so push my backhand forward.
Yeah.
Got it.
It comes out.
Nice.
There you go.
Perfect. So can I try again?
Okay. Try to bring it down. Imagine that's the water, yeah?
And then this.
So press it down, exactly.
Nice.
So that's a way to recover. If for some reason it gets too hard, you could just let go
Just let it go.
and then you restart.
Okay.
But that's just one way to save it, right? So just because your wingtip touches the water doesn't mean that you have to stop completely.
Perfect. So and then with my backhand, I just need to pull and then I get power.
Yeah, try it out.
Just one hand or I can
Try with one hand first, just to see. You feel power there?
Yeah, a little bit.
All right. And then let's try with two hands. How's it look with two hands?
So like how, like this or like this?
Which one feels like it has more power?
I think this is less power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's the other way? Okay.
Yeah, like, okay, got it.
It
Yeah.
feels, you feel it a little
Yeah,
bit
because
more.
if I close more my front hand, it's less power, right? I
Yeah.
lose. Okay, got it. So, yeah. I see. Yeah.
Now let's try walking the other way. So let's turn around
Switch my hand.
and just walk towards me.
So here's the same technique, right?
One more time.
So here's the same technique. Just my back
Yeah.
hand.
Same thing.
Okay.
There we go.
I see. Yeah.
Now we feel like the wind picked up a little bit more, so
Yeah.
that's good.
But in the beginning, I need to use just my back hand, or I
Yeah.
can use both.
It depends on the situation. You're gonna wanna be comfortable using both, whether you're gonna be using your backhand once in a while. If it's nice and windy, you can maybe get away with just using your backhand.
Just
But
my
if you
back-
feel like you need a bit more power,
And then I use
then
both.
you can use both hands.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
right.
sometimes it's like, it's gusty.
So now let's turn around. All right. So show me that you can bring the wing in different positions that you decide. So let's try to bring it low,
A
right
little bit
there.
lower,
Try
yeah.
to keep it steady.
And then I pull. Yeah, I got it. They
And try
push
to
me
walk.
forward. Yeah,
Yeah.
I see. Here we go.
There you go. You're gonna fly away now soon.
So a little bit in front of me, right?
That's looking good. So one thing that's good to try is just holding the wing, all right? If you walk down with the wind, what do you feel if you move down this way?
I lose the power.
You feel like you lose power?
Yeah.
All right. And if you run up towards me,
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I get more power. Yeah.
you
Yeah,
get a
I
little
feel
bit more
more
power.
pressure.
So let's walk over here, Jerry, real quick. So one thing that we're gonna be wanting to remember is that in wind sports, generally speaking, what we're gonna be doing is always sort of riding crosswind, right? So the wind's always generally gonna be towards our backs. Okay,
got it.
So if you try to look up into the wind and you try to control the wing, what happens?
Let's see.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Hey, nice recovery.
Oh, shit.
So if you try to go too much into the wind, you sort of, it doesn't really work out, right? And if you go with the wind, downwind entirely, for our purposes, it doesn't really work out either because we can't generate any power because the wind is just blowing us away, right?
Oh, okay.
So we're always gonna sort of be going into the wind slightly, but we're crossing it. We're going side onto it.
Yeah. So good.
Right, so we're always gonna find this middle point, and if we go too much into the wind, it's gonna pull us too much. And if we go too much down with the wind, it's gonna be putting us too much down.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, they trust me. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I go down, I lose a
Alrighty.
little bit.
So now let's do the next exercises because your wing control is looking good.
Yeah, I see. So this way, more power. And then if I go down, I lose the power. Yes.
Power.
I see.
Now it's looking good. All right, so let's bring the wing neutral. Here, I got it. Awesome.
Here.
So now the next exercise that we're gonna wanna do is that we're gonna wanna put together what we've just been doing, right? Which is we're gonna want to work essentially like if we were gonna be on our boards, okay? Because now you're dominating the wing. You know, we spent some time here practicing and you have pretty good control, but now we need to put it together in as close of a real scenario as we can on the water. So when you saw the guys riding and in the videos, you see that everyone goes from knee to standing on the board, right? So what we're gonna wanna do is replicate us being on a board on the water and do these same exercises, which is called knee to standing. So imagining that this is my board, or this is your board, right? This is the direction we're going. From here, what we're gonna wanna be doing is practicing the exercise of getting onto the board, holding the wing, so it's nice and stable. You see the wing right now is not flying away,
Yeah.
but oh, might be flying away.
Yeah, nice.
We want to be stabilizing the wing and essentially getting the wing up into our hands, and then from here generating a little bit of power, and then going to standing, from knee to standing, all right? And the exercise is gonna be very simple, which is we're gonna have our wing, we're gonna be holding it. From here, we're gonna be getting our wing above our heads. Once it's nice and steady and we feel comfortable, we're gonna be using our knees and our feet to stabilize the board as best as we can. We're gonna be using our core to help position us, which is gonna be a detail you're gonna see in the future. And then, once our wing's above us, we're using our core. We're gonna pump 3 times, just so we get a little bit of forward momentum. And then from here, we're gonna wanna go front foot forward, and then just pop off of our back foot. And if for some reason here we have to adjust our stance, we're gonna adjust our stance. And then we're gonna keep generating power, maintaining balance. So that means most of the time lowering our center of gravity a little bit, pressing into the board, keeping a little bit of weight forward. I'm gonna explain to you once we get to the board why we're gonna wanna keep our weight forward. And then from there, we're gonna be getting to foiling. But the important part of the exercise now is going from knee to standing.
Standing.
All right? So
I have a question. So if I go on the right, so which one I put forward?
you're gonna wanna put your right foot forward.
If I go on the right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you gotta remember that we're just keeping a regular stance. So for some people, it might be weird one way or the other because they might be a goofy rider or they might be a regular rider. So you're always gonna have one side that you're gonna be a little bit more comfortable on. Whether that's here at this spot going out with your right foot forward or coming in or going out with your left foot forward. It's gonna vary. I'm gonna show you the exercise real quick. All right. And then you're gonna give it a shot, okay? So here I got my wing. It's flying around. I get onto my board. So here I'm on my board. I don't have my wing in my hand. If I leave it like this, there's a chance that it's gonna blow over and then it's gonna be struggling. So what I wanna do is either hold it by the leash or by the handle.
Or the handle, yeah.
I usually preference hold it by the leash. Here, I'm gonna be holding my board. I'm gonna be balancing myself. I'm looking at if there's anyone ahead of me. And then what I'm gonna do is try to go to get my wing and then go from knee to standing with the wing in the air. So I'm gonna bring my wing closer to me. I'm gonna grab my handles. Whoa. I'm gonna try to go into the right position. As you can tell here, the wind is a little bit iffy. I'm just gonna try to keep it nicely above my head. And then once I feel that it's nice and comfortable and I'm a bit stable, I'm gonna pump with my backhand 3 times. 1, 2, 3. This might vary depending on the spot and the wind, but I just wanna be moving forward a little bit. Once I feel like I'm moving forward, I'm gonna pop my front foot forward. Yeah. And I don't wanna stay in this position for too long. All right, once I'm in this position, I just wanna try to get up because once I'm standing, I'll have a little bit better balance and also the wing is gonna have a little bit more power and it's gonna help me stabilize. If I try to use the wing only to stabilize myself or just my feet, I might have situations here. So I try to combine both by keeping the wing nice and steady above my head, lowering my center of gravity a little bit, and then getting my feet comfortable. If my stance is too wide,
that's too wide. Okay.
Then it might not be comfortable.
All right.
So I want to just have a normal stance a little bit shoulder width apart, so it's nice and comfy. And I might have drawn my board a little bit wrong because this feels like the right direction right now. But in any case, that's what we're gonna be doing. We're gonna go from knee to standing. We're gonna try it out once this way, and then we're gonna also try it out coming back in.
All right, let's see.
You have any questions up to this point?
Yeah, so when I am on my knees, so I pump with my both hand or just with my back hand?
That's gonna be up to you.
All right.
So if you feel comfortable with just your backhand, then do just your backhand. If you feel like you need a bit more power because you're not really moving, then try to do it with both of your hands. But always remember that since you're on your knees, you're gonna be closer to the water. So you wanna keep your wing nice and high.
All right.
So it doesn't touch the water. All right?
See.
Nice and high with a little slight forward angle. And this is also why we got you those knee guards, so you can protect your knees.
So I need to keep my wing close to my body, right?
Yeah,
So
ideally.
here. And then, so all right, got it.
There you go.
So a little bit higher, right?
Yeah. And if for some reason you're not feeling that stable when you're on your knees, you can sit down into your feet a little bit, just so you get a little bit more stability in case.
I got it.
All right?
Yeah.
But you want to use your weight properly so that you're gonna be balancing yourself well on the board. But you're gonna see that once we get to the board.
Yeah. So I don't feel how much power.
You don't feel, yeah, I think it's because of the position we're at. But try to find the wind.
With both hands.
If you don't feel that much power, try with both hands. Yeah.
I got it. I see. Yeah.
There you go. And get your feet nice and planted. All right, so you really want to adjust your feet so they feel very planted into the water. There we go.
Okay. So, okay, guys.
And if you feel like you're in an awkward position, adjust yourself, right? Whether it's moving your feet or adjusting your body.
I see. Yeah. So then here, I keep my wing higher, or like,
In a slight forward angle, because you see, if you bring
Yeah.
it too far down, then it starts pulling you too much, right? So
I
for
see.
now, we're just going to be getting used to the wing's power and just letting it pull us accordingly, right?
I
So we're
see.
not trying to get to foiling right away. We're just trying to get in control. That's our first step when we're going to start down this process, especially on the water. Everyone always wants to get foiling right away, but it's better to focus first on the basics, building a nice foundation, and then eventually we're going to get foiling. But yeah, eventually though, remember that more speed you have is going to be your friend when you're foiling. But you're going to see that once we're on the water.
Yeah.
So alrighty. Let's do it one more time, that exercise. The wing a little bit more in front of you. Yeah, there we go. Bump. Get those feet nice and planted. There we go.
Yeah, I feel
That's
much
good.
better. So and then if I move my wing a little bit forward, and then, okay.
And it starts
Got it.
going. All right, let's give it a shot on the other side.
So,
So
this way, so let's move forward, right?
Yeah.
So keep it a little bit high. Here.
So try to bring your wing, before you stand up, try to bring your wing close to the water. See what happens.
Yeah, they trust me, like,
What do you feel there?
yeah. Like they push me on this way.
And pulling you a little bit sideways as well,
Yeah.
right?
So
So that's why
here
you want to keep your wing nice and high
a little, yeah.
and almost more towards the wind side than downwind of you. Because if it's too downwind, it's going to push your body over,
I see.
right? And you're going to lose balance. So you always want to almost have a little bit of your body going into the wind because the wind's going to help push you.
So I need to keep a little
keep you
bit
balanced.
like over here,
Yeah.
a little bit higher, and then pull in, pull in. I see. Yeah.
Super. You feel comfortable with your feet like that?
Yeah.
Or?
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
much better than this. Yeah.
All right. And remember, right now I see you leaning a lot on your back foot. You're going to want to remember that once we get onto the board, we're going to want to keep our weight a little bit forward. Okay.
About my body or just look?
Just your weight. So if it's using your body a little bit, but it's just that you don't want to throw your body off balance because then you're going to have a hard time controlling the wing, managing the board, and everything.
Let's try it again.
So in any case, let's do from knee to standing, and then we take a couple steps.
So and then a little
All right,
bit.
so imagine we're foiling, we're moving forward. Up, 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 up. Super. And we'll do one more. We'll do one more time
This
going
way.
out. Looking good. All righty. So there we pretty much covered all the basics. Good job. We pretty much covered all the basics where we went from not knowing anything about the wing, right, to now putting it together with the wind a little bit, understanding how to control the wing. So whether it's keeping it stable, whether it's bringing it into the power zone, which is a little bit in front of us, or even generating power
Yeah, I
in the
feel
power
that
zone.
like when I move my wing a little bit in front of me, they push
Starts
me.
pulling.
Yeah.
Exact. So you've been bringing now the wing into the power zone. We've already now done the exercise from knee to standing. So we pretty much covered, and we also learned how to flip the wing over. So we pretty much covered everything we're gonna need to cover for now on the beach, right? Anything that we need to work on though, we could always come back here on the beach to try to master,
Try it again.
right? The biggest exercise that's most important is the wing control overall, and then generating power and getting from knee to standing. All right, so you already got your impact vest on, you got your helmet on, so I'm just gonna grab this so we can talk a little bit about, the board. So here, you can just help me out, Jerry, to bring the board a little bit closer. Super. So as you can tell, we got a regular board. This is 130 liters, which is a beginner board. You weigh how much around?
I think it's
100.
80, no,
80 kilos?
yeah.
80 kilos?
81.
Okay. So you weigh 80 kilos. So generally speaking, when you're gonna have a beginner board, you're gonna want around 30 to 50 liters or more than your weight in kilos. So this is right in the range for you.
All right.
Which if you're weighing 80 kilos, this is 130. So this is 50 more liters than you actually need.
Nice.
We got a leash for the board, just like a regular surf leash that you're familiar with.
Oh, yeah.
But instead of having it tied to your ankle, we're gonna be tying it to our waist, and this is a waist belt.
Here.
All right. As you can tell, below we have the foil. So the foil has a few elements to it. We have the mast, which comes in different lengths. We have the front wing, which is this one, the stabilizer, and the fuselage. For now, what's important to know is that what you have here is a beginner setup. We got a nice short mast, we got a large front wing, we got a long fuselage, which with a larger stabilizer. So this is as beginner friendly, as user friendly as it gets when it comes towards beginner equipment. Now, remember I was telling you before that speed is gonna be our friend, right?
Yeah.
So just like a plane, when it's running on the runway, for it to start flying, it doesn't just fly straight up and then go, right? It needs forward speed to then eventually get some lift, to then eventually take off,
All
right? And the foil works a lot in the same way, or in similar ways, where we're gonna wanna get forward momentum, we're gonna wanna generate forward speed, which is then gonna create lift, which is then eventually, with sufficient speed, sufficient lift, take us up out of the water. But what's gonna happen now, if the water's here, the foils, we're coming, we're getting speed, if we keep going up, what happens?
So I need to lean forward.
We might come out of the water,
Oh, yeah, sure.
right? So if we keep flying up and out of the water, if the foil comes out of the water, right, it's not a magic carpet where we're just gonna be flying away. It's eventually gonna breach. And when it breaches, we're gonna lose stability. So our whole goal is that if when we're moving forward and it's generating lift, we're gonna want to apply forward pressure to counterbalance or counteract that lift to bring it back to neutral. But now, if we're moving forward and we went from having lift to now controlling the lift to going to neutral, if we keep pressing more forward, what happens?
Yeah. So
We start going down and then eventually we crash, right? So we always want to remember that the board, let me just tie this here. So that the foil, we have a limited amount of space to go up out of the water and also down. Because if we go too far down, the board's gonna touch, you might fall over. If we go too far up and out, then we might fly up and out of the water, and then we're both of the times out of control, essentially.
I see.
So what we're gonna wanna do with this exercise that we're gonna be going into is that we're gonna get first familiar with the foil, where luckily now, the foils for beginners are a lot less sharp. Back in the day, they were a lot sharper, so a little bit more dangerous, but you can still hurt yourself if you kick it. So whenever you're around the foil, you don't wanna be kicking your feet too much, because then you might actually kick the foil and you're gonna hurt yourself,
Yeah.
right? One way to protect from that is wearing a full neoprene. Here it's super hot, we're in the Caribbean, so using a full neoprene is not really necessary, but we at least have the knee guards, which is gonna help with our knees when we're gonna be doing knee to standing or getting onto the board, which is a common part to get hurt or a little bit scratched up, which might make the session shorter. So using water shoes or using knee guards or using neoprenes are all good things that can help you out. And it's very important, you already have it on, but having a helmet and some sort of impact vest or flotation device is gonna be key. So in any case, here you can see we have a pad on the board. We're not gonna be needing to go all the way to the front of the board. This is essentially just volume to help with our flotation, to keep us stable. But what we're gonna wanna be doing is working with our feet, keeping them nice and centered in general, sort of like how you are standing here on the
But
land.
not too wide.
Not too wide and not both on the same side. We're just gonna be keeping them nice and in the center, or imagining there's a line, we're gonna be having one foot on each opposite end, of course. All right, so other than that, let me just put this here. So other than that, remember, once we're gonna get into the water, all this gear is a little bit heavy, so I'm gonna first help you out by carrying it into the water. But eventually the goal is that you're gonna be comfortable going out and coming in, right? And as you can tell behind us, we don't have much waves. We don't have huge waves in the shore break. We have little waves, which makes it very manageable for us to just get past.
Yeah.
The ocean right now is not totally flat because we do have some chop from the wind as well as the ocean swell. So that's gonna be a little bit of a challenge for us, but in the end, it's actually gonna help us out because now if we can master these conditions, if we go somewhere where it's flat water, if we go to a lake or anywhere or an ocean that's flat,
easy.
it's gonna be super easy, all right?
Easy.
So it might be a little bit of a challenge, but what we're gonna do is that we're gonna go out together. I'm gonna show you a demo of the exercise we're gonna be doing, which is essentially taxiing, right? We're just gonna get comfortable bringing the wing above us, keeping a little bit of weight forward, and then just letting the wing pull us. And what's gonna happen is at first we're gonna be getting drifted downwind, right? We're gonna be going downwind, we're gonna be going down towards the bay. But what we're gonna wanna try to do is sort of how we see all these other guys riding, we're gonna wanna go a little bit up into the
A
wind.
little bit up to the.
If we go too much up into the wind, we might totally stop and we're not gonna be moving maybe. And if we go too much downwind, then we're just gonna blow all the way down there. We're gonna end up at the shoreline again and we're not gonna be into the ocean. So we're gonna wanna go slightly side off into the wind and go out into the bay so that we have a nice place to play. Once we do the neat standing exercise, right, what's gonna happen is that you might have your first breaches out of the water because you might generate enough speed, and with this foil, since it's very easy, you're gonna see right away that it's gonna wanna be flying up out of the water. And what happens is that once the board starts getting off of the water, it's gonna become very unstable, which is why I was talking that we really wanna keep our weight into the board, slightly forward, and we want to stay nice and low. Because if we're too tall and we're all extended, what's going to happen maybe?
No, so maybe just.
Yeah, you might
bring
fall
it
back,
up,
you
like
might fall
this
forward,
way,
might
or
fall
forward,
sideways, right? So if you get nice and low, not too bad low, because then it might not be comfortable. You get nice and low,
That's a little bit.
you can feel what you're doing, right? And you have room to play. If you need to press, you can press. If you need to extend your leg, you can extend your leg. But if you're fully extended all the time, the only option you have is pressing down.
I see.
And if you're all the way down here, the only option you have is pressing up. So we're
just
gonna find a
little
nice
bit.
balance,
Yeah.
exact, where we can play.
Okay.
All right, so that's pretty much it. Do you have any questions about the gear?
No, yeah,
Or
I'm
what
so
we're gonna be doing?
excited about.
Just excited to get out?
Yeah.
All right, so then we're gonna get out there now. And what we're gonna do is just mess around here in the beginning. I'm gonna show you the exercise once. If you have any questions, and we'll answer them.
So you're gonna show me how you.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
gonna show you how to go in. I'm gonna show you what the actual exercise is gonna be, so you have a visual example. And then after that, you're gonna give it a shot. And depending on how you progress, then I'll either help you out in some ways or another. But the most important thing when we're learning how to wing foil is to practice and then course correct, right?
Yeah.
There's still a lot of information that I haven't mentioned because, as you can maybe agree, there's a lot of information, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of information. Yeah.
So you don't want to know too much, and we can sort of work on things as we go. The most important thing is that we got our safety gear. You already know if something goes wrong, what do?
Yeah. So I need a helmet.
But if something goes wrong, right? You're
it's just
freaking out
like-
in the water. What happens?
So maybe I touch the foil with the board
But let's say you're on the board, you're there, it's pulling you a lot. What could you do?
to let it go.
You just let go.
Yeah, sure.
Right? And you can realize that we're never that far. Here we luckily have a spot that has side-on wind compared to other spots in the world that might have offshore wind or totally onshore wind or whatever it might be. Those spots might be a bit more of a challenge and have their own intricacies. But for here, we have very easy conditions, as you can tell. And worst case, I'll swim out to you. Worst case as well, another worst case is that you could swim back in. or you're just eventually gonna get drifted out to a little bit more down on the beach, and we'll meet up in the water, right, or on the land.
I see.
So you're always gonna be safe here, which is a nice thing to
The
know.
wind push me out, and yeah,
It's never gonna push you out to sea. It's always
Yeah.
gonna push, at least here, it's always gonna push you back to the land
to
somewhere.
the land. Yeah.
Right? At least where we're practicing. And this is important. When you're learning, you want to really assess your spot so you know where you're riding. Here, we don't have any crazy currents. We don't have any crazy riptides. We don't have any, we might have some shark friends out here, but they're not really chilling in here in the bay because there's really not much for them to eat, right?
Yeah, I saw it.
So we don't have to worry too much about anything here, but it's important to know, depending where you're training in the world, what is the reality of that spot, all right?
Right.
So in any case, what we're gonna do here, I'll let you grab the wing if you have no other questions.
If I am on the water,
Yeah,
if I feel like so tired, so
yeah.
so the waves and the wind, they so push me out.
What happens?
I was like,
If you're too tired,
yeah,
I'll come and get you.
okay, got it.
Yeah. I'll come and get you. Or you just lay on the board, lay on your stomach, let the wing there, either hold it in your hand, and then we'll solve it from there. But all right, so the board. When we're gonna be walking in, I'm gonna show you a little bit of how to carry it so that we don't get hurt. You know, it is heavy, it's big.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna show you how we can carry it out, how we can carry it in. It's always important to know about our surroundings, right?
Yeah,
And right now, luckily, we can tell there's a few swimmers up here. Not a big deal for us
Yeah.
because they're upwind of us. And if we look downwind of us, there's a few guys that are learning how to kiteboard, that are riding, some swimmers, but we're not gonna get anywhere near them for now. If we do get near them, you can always communicate, say, hey guys,
yeah.
watch
exactly.
out, I'm here, you
Yeah.
know, I'm a beginner. Usually it's easier for them to move. And if for some reason they're not hearing you, you know, you just try to swim away, or if you get comfortable with the wing, then you could just taxi yourself away.
Sure.
Sorry, let me get my jacket on as well. Actually, I have to take off my shirt, take off everything. So we're gonna get prepared, and then we're gonna hit the water.
Let's
Alrighty?
see. Super.
Just got right.